The Prodigal Journey, Finding My Way Back to the Supper of the Lamb, Through My Catholic Faith. Chapter 1. The Parochial Years. In a small town in the southeastern United States, the years stretched like the long, narrow halls of the local Catholic school where I spent much of my childhood. I was an anomaly, tall and lanky, towering over my classmates like a neglected beanstalk. This height, a blessing for some, became my curse, as it set me apart in more ways than just stature. The other children, with their evenly matched heights and playful exuberance, saw me as an easy target. I was the tallest in the school, and thus the most visible, which made the weight of isolation heavier than the burden of my limbs. In kindergarten, I stood by the jungle gym, watching others swing and climb, with an ease I could only dream of. My clumsiness became apparent during our weekly gym class, where I would flail to catch a ball or shoot a basket. Laughter would ripple through the air, sharp and cutting, as I stumbled on my own feet. "Look at the giraffe," someone would shout, and their laughter would echo in my ears long after recess ended. I shrank into myself, my shyness thickening like a fog around me. I did everything I could to skip CCD class on Sundays, where the lessons felt as endless as my social awkwardness. Despite my struggles in sports and the relentless teasing, there was one place where I found solace: the choir. Each rehearsal, I would slip away from the chaotic world of the schoolyard and into the soft, sacred space of the church, where the familiar scent of incense wrapped around me like a warm blanket. The music enveloped me, filling the empty corners of my heart. I lost myself in the melodies, letting the notes carry my worries away. The choir director, Sister Mary Margaret, had a kind smile that reminded me of my grandmother. Her encouraging belief in my voice ignited a flicker of confidence that sometimes flickered just enough to keep me going. My family's faith was a quiet, distant echo, barely audible in the busy din of daily life. At the same time, I learned about the sacraments, First Holy Communion and Confirmation. My parents rarely spoke of their beliefs. The rituals felt hollow, often just motions to be performed rather than a deep well of conviction. Dressed in a blue suit, bowl-cut hairstyle, and a smile where I was self-conscious about showing my teeth, I felt like the awkward schoolboy standing before the altar. My parents were delighted in my achievement, but never sat down with me to share and explain their First Communion, and that by transubstantiation I was partaking of the actual flesh and blood of our Lord Jesus Christ. This marked the beginning of my belief that the bread and wine were merely symbols, not to be taken literally. As I transitioned into high school, the hobbies and interests that my parents cherished began to evolve into an obsession for me. This wasn't just a passing phase, it fueled a deep sense of pride and a yearning for significance that would shape my identity for decades. Their influences became the framework for my life, guiding my choices and passions, and instilling in me a profound appreciation for the beauty of creativity and the importance of nurturing one's interests. The seeds they planted, both in our yard and in my heart, continued to grow, shaping who I would become over the next 50 years. Yet, alongside that growth was a quiet acknowledgement of the entitlement that came from being the focus of my parents' attention. This dual legacy would influence my journey in ways I would not recognize until it was too late. These parochial years, marked by solitude and confusion, laid the groundwork for my journey. Though I felt far removed from the supper of the Lamb, I was not yet lost forever. Deep down, beneath layers of self-doubt and external expectations, the flicker of faith remained. It was a smoldering ember, waiting for the right moment and breath of grace to ignite again. The path back would last over 50 years, but the arduous journey had just begun.